on education, particularly higher education in the state, a government that's cutting across the board. The assignment of the power of the budget to a legislative-dominated body, not even the legislative leadership, the chairmen of the Ways and Means and Appropriations, these things are very bad because what happens in these across-the-board cuts, the gutting of the one end of the engine, not just of K through 12, but the gutting of college education in the state, which is the highest in the Southeast, is at the 8th highest in the country of in-state tuition. In a poor state, people who need to go to college, it has got the highest, 8th highest, the highest in the Southeast, and the second lowest amount of state support, and it is just being torn to shreds by these budgets. That is called, shooting, that is strangling your future. And it's not like with the cause, it should not be. It should be about South Carolina and their stewardship. And I have to say, some of the stewardship of the members of the Democratic Party who are comfortable with the crumbs. The crumbs, that's what they do. They have the crumbs, who have power centers and have the crumbs. But the real problem in South Carolina is uncompetitive politics. You cannot have a healthy state. And by the way, the most interesting thing to me happened when I realized that every argument or issue in the state, it came up, the voices that the media talked about were all Republicans. It was the governor versus against Bobby Harrell, the Speaker, or the President of the Senate, or the Chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. And I was collecting at one point the number of stories where no Democrat was even interviewed. Now, that's either because the media could be all crazy, or they could be just, they don't realize it is two parties, or it is a symptom of the belief that the Democrats are irrelevant. And part of that irrelevance comes from the fact that this state has uncompetitive elections. I came from California, which has the exact same problem. In California, we have no competitive elections. That is because in California, the two parties got together and divided the state up to protect all the incumbents after the 2000 census, excuse me. And a deal was done to protect everybody on both parties, the Democrats being afraid of a lawsuit that would actually force re-elections, the Republicans anxious to hold on, being afraid of the Democratic majority, what they would gain. So there are no competitive elections in California, whatever the concern is, and you can see what's happened in that state with its government. In this state, the lack of competitiveness comes from racial gerrymandering. It's not partisan gerrymandering, it's racial gerrymandering. And that goes back to the deal done by Atwater and this goes back since the Voting Rights Act, 1980-90 census, to when Republicans decided to make a deal with black Democrats. We will give you all black districts, they're totally safe. In return, we'll take your voters out of the white districts. Well, what you have when Phil talks about the 69% or this percentage of look, for this entire decade, election after election, the average is 70% of the state assembly, state house seats, and state senate seats are uncontested by one of the two major parties. Republicans don't run in overwhelmingly Democratic districts, and the Democrats often do not field a candidate at all. In last election, 27%, only 27% of the races in the lower house had a Democrat and Republican.